well, let's get, I'll stop there later. Let's do the bottom of the primary, 7 of Pentacles reversed. So I see that you may be coming out of a reflection period, or you're not reflecting, okay? And so the advice may be to reflect. I also see this card as coming out of isolation. And it's funny because at the bottom of the clarification deck, we have solitude, isolation, okay? And then, which is the High Priestess, Major Arcana. So we put these together, we have solitude or isolation and coming out of isolation. So I think this is like just the timeline of your entire reading. It could also be you're not taking the time to assess something, not taking that solitude, and then you do. This could also say you need to take time to invest in self-reflection, or just a reflection of a situation. Okay, now let's get to your situation. I can tell you're reflecting because you're trying to make a decision. 2 of Swords tells me that you may be in denial about something, as with the blindfold. And you're trying not to hurt yourself. You're trying not to get hurt, but you're also trying not to hurt others. And so here we have 2 people who have different beliefs, different thoughts, different viewpoints, but they're arguing, okay? And it just seems as if you want to make any progress, you will have to make a truce. But anytime I see 2, we actually have a few 2s in here. We have 2 of Swords, we have the Empress, the Temperance, which is 11 but equals to 2. We have the Lovers, which has 2 people. And then we have the Hierophant. So we do have a few 2s. So I know there's a choice to be made. And you're trying to decide. You're on the fence. And here's what you're deciding between. 9 of Wands. It talks about spiritual strength. But this is just not giving up. This is never giving up, never backing down, keeping going. It's also putting up barriers to make sure that something doesn't happen to you again. You actually have 9 of Wands twice, okay? You have 9 of Wands, what you're trying to decide between. It also comes up in your other challenges. So these are the same cards. And you can see you've been hurt before, okay? So you're wary about what's out there lurking. You're afraid somebody's going to come and pay you back, okay? And really, you're the one who's wanting to be paid back. You're wanting retribution. But with 9 of Wands, I see you're going to have to be resilient. You're going to have courage. This is somebody who's ready to fight. And he has this orange tunic, which tells me you are ready to fight. You're ready to dominate. Okay, this is standing your ground, a lot like the 7 of Wands, okay? But here with 9, like you are even more determined than the 7 of Wands. And 9 is close to 10, so you're almost at that conclusion. You're almost at that completion. But you know what you believe and you're not going to give up. This is one thing you're deciding. Basically, you are being stronger than you can ever imagine. So that's on one side. Do you want to stick to your guns? The other side of the 2 of Swords, you got a Major Arcana, Destiny. That's number 10, so it's the Wheel of Fortune. Wheel of Fortune is all about your turn of luck. Something new, a new way of life, or a completed cycle. So here we have incomplete cycle and complete cycle. We have standing your ground. And then with the Wheel of Fortune, it's going to represent relaxation, taking a break and withdrawing. Now, normally I don't see that, okay, because I see this as an action card, but this does represent self-knowledge, okay? And it's clarified by 4 of Swords. 4 of Swords is always taking a break, okay? And you actually get it, okay? It's not in reverse. You actually get this break. 4 of Swords means maybe cutting somebody off, withdrawing, not dating for a while, okay? Somebody's not ready to have feelings for someone yet. So we have that as the opposite of 9 of Wands. Okay, Next one, clarification, we have another major arcana. We have Temperance. So then we have another 2 card. And this is all about balancing and healing. Okay. So do you fight and stay, or do you move on and heal yourself? Okay. Also with Temperance, it may not be moving on. That could be just standing your ground and being very defensive. Because you do care about whatever it is you're defending. You do. And here it says trying to integrate 2 opposing forces. So if you are arguing with somebody, like these 2 of Swords indicate, you're trying to integrate those things and make it work. You're trying to put that spark back in. You're the chemist who's trying to make the chemistry. So you do have chemistry with this person. And if you don't, you're trying to make it so. So you got 2 major arcanas to clarify one side of the Swords. It's pretty amazing. But when I see the Wheel of Fortune upright, everything's going to work out for the best. Okay, no matter what happens, it's going to be in your best interest. Wheel of Fortune is like God approved. Okay. So I see self-knowledge here, and then the 4 of Swords. You could be, I see reflection, inner meditation, even prayer. Okay, and so with High Priestess, I do see more religion and solitude, that reflection, prayer, meditation, going deeper. You could be studying a religion, some of you, because we do have spiritual strength over here on 9 of Wands. So you could be deciding whether or not to stand your ground with one particular belief, or moving on to a new way of believing or living. Okay. Yeah. And you're still searching for that esoteric knowledge that you just don't have just yet. And before, you weren't really reflecting, or you thought maybe it was just a bad investment. But now you're really weighing it, and I like that. But you're still on the fence, okay? Now, I do think this is a lot about lovers, but it can be about religion, okay? Even possibly a job. But when I see just this whole situation right here, because we're still in your situation, I just had to clarify it to make sure, what are you deciding? And like the title I would see for this is, do you give up or do you keep fighting? Okay. So this is giving up, keeping fighting. Because if you see like the world, you're changing a new way of life, you're laying down in repose, and then balancing and healing and moving on. Okay. So give up on this idea, this relationship, this partnership, or keep fighting. All right. So let's move those a little bit so I have some more room. Coming to your situation, another major arcana, we have the World, okay? Now, the World tells me that something is going to be completed, okay? So we have the 9 of Wands, which was something wasn't complete yet. You're trying to decide if you still need to work for it. But I could also see that as closure, okay? And here with the World, I see getting closure because the laurel is complete, okay? And it's leading to a type of freedom. It's like the climax of what it is you've been waiting for. So even though this is in the obstacle section, it can also be your fate or your destiny. And I see that with the World too, as well as the Wheel of Fortune. So this position here could be obstacle, and it usually is, but it can also just be your fate. And with the World, it's clarified by the 5 of Pentacles, which is usually a very negative card, okay? But I see this as somebody has left you out in the cold. Okay, that could be part of an obstacle. And you may suffer a little monetarily, but you have a world of experience, okay? You've also experienced this person before, and both of these together say you're not letting that despair, you're not letting it get you down, okay? You're like, I'm going to keep, dancing through life. And she looks a lot like the Hanged Man. Okay, so if we turned her around, she's like the Hanged Man in the same position almost, except her hands are free. So even if she's kind of in a bind, or she's in suspense, or she's left hanging, she's still able to have her arms free. She's still able to take action. Whereas the Hanged Man has to actually manipulate behind the scene to get his hands free. It also could be that you are on your own to face adversity. But you have unseen protection, okay? Because this is, very good luck. Somebody could have taken all that you had and left you out in the cold. Because, I see the world as everything, okay, the whole world, and loss. So I see taking everything that you have, but you're not going to let it get you down, okay? Fives talk about impermanence and conflict. And you have a few fives. You have, Five of Pentacles, Five of Wands, and not Five of Wands. I think it's Five of Swords, but I'll go back and look. And then you have Five of Cups. So I see, conflict and loss and tension, but also impermanence. So that's really good. On the other side of the world, you have Nine of Cups. So when I see Nine of Cups and the world, I see still getting what you want. So if somebody does something, they take all you have, or they're just a really mean loser and they're coming back to try to hurt you, and you're not letting them in, okay, you put up that barrier like the Nine of Wands told you to do. You put up the barrier, so even if they do take something, it's not going to get to you. You're still going to get fulfilled, okay? Any wishes you have, they're going to come to fruition. You're going to have a completed cycle. And something else I see here, I do see some kind of harm being left out in the cold. And then sometimes this represents accidents. And it could have affected your world. But I think some of you are looking for closure about something. That's why we talk about, stay and fight, okay? Do I let it go and relax and forgive, like the Temperance might suggest? And the world does look like she's letting go because of the Hanged Man, or the resemblance to the Hanged Man. And then we have fulfilling your wishes. So it looks like your fate is that you are going to get over this loss, okay, that's being left out in the cold. You're going to get that wish. You're going to get your closure and your healing, your victory, your recovery, okay? All right, steps to take that go with your obstacle/fate. Seven of Cups reversed. And I thought, what on earth? This does not go with the rest of the reading. But Seven of Cups, I always think of as using your logic and not your lust. Okay? So this will be your steps. If you have any decisions to make, you need to ice them. And we already talked about making a decision, right? Well, clarifying that, we got the Lovers. Okay, that's two. That's a decision. And to me, it's talking about a union, okay? So before you make a decision, ice it. Get some guidance. And just make sure to think about things before you actually do them. But I do see that with this and that there is enough room on your journey for two people. Okay. And when you're seeking advice, include this other person in your plans. Okay. You may find out that they didn't have the same plans as you, or if you don't include them, they may feel left out. So include somebody else in your plans. And the reason I think you are going to join with somebody eventually is we have Three of Wands. If you look at the bottom, it says, what? Oh, partnerships and alliances. So I do see it joining together. Now be very careful that this union is just two and not three, because I do see three here. Something might interfere with this bond. And I could even see a possible marriage going on here, okay? But with Seven of Cups, there could be some temptation or some cheating. So before you join with somebody, make sure, ice your decision, make sure everything's on the up and up first, okay? But that can help you with getting this closure. Maybe possibly moving on to somebody else, or just thinking about things. Maybe I could see with the Lovers and the Star card over here, I could see maybe you communicate with somebody and it brings about some closure or some healing. going back, to your strength area. With the Five of Cups, I can see that, there's been some tears about something and you're disappointed. And that's probably due to some kind of belief you had that may have been incorrect. Because later on we'll have Five of Wands, which will talk about, Five of Swords, which will talk about incorrect belief or making the wrong choice. And that would be Lovers in reverse. Okay. But I do see some communication that's going to go on. All right, so let's go to your strength. You have the Star. Your strength is that you're going to heal. You're very strong. You have hope. You have expectations. This is going to take you places. When the Star and the World and the Wheel of Fortune are all in the same reading, which you have, it's a very good sign. This talks about being highly successful, possibly recognition if you're looking to be recognized for something. And it's going to be very unusual. Like you'll be so successful that it could not just be happenstance. But you're going to be the Star. You're going to be significant to whatever is happening. I also see the completion of a cycle. And I think your cycle is going to be completed, or you want this healing so bad that that joining with somebody in some way will help with this reconstruction or this healing. But clarifying the Star, we have Five of Cups. So you're going to heal from a disappointment in love or a disappointment in an offer or partnership. And you were hurt by a betrayal or a loss, but you're going to use that. You've used that to make you stronger, I should say. Okay. And we talked earlier with the obstacle / fate, that you're not letting this person get you down. Like they may have taken a lot from you, but it's made you a better person. It's made you stronger. Well, this is the Five of Cups. Okay. Talking about healing. You've healed from something or you're wanting to heal, and it's going to make you stronger. Bless me. Okay. So the pain was a catalyst for you to grow, and you gained some wisdom from this. Not everything was lost. There was stuff left behind that you could use. You may still be a little melancholy, but it's worked out in your favor. And just seeing the Five of Cups and Three of Wands, there was some disappointment with the union. And it could have been that they had cheated on you in the past and you're seeking closure. Or you're just kind of finally realizing to yourself, like, hey, I'm going to let this go and move on. I'm going to put up those barriers again, because if he comes back, I know he's not worth shit. Okay? Or she. I just use the verbs that are opposite of me. So you use the verbs that are nouns, pronouns that are opposite of you, okay? The next clarification card of the Star is another major arcana. Oh, by the way, you have like 8 major arcana. You have Wheel of Fortune, Tower, Death, Lovers, Empress, High Priestess, Moon, and Temperance. Okay, so yeah, you had 8. So something is going on really, something really big is going on with with you Libras. All right, so we had the Empress. Empress again is another 2. We had lots of 2 cards. I think I told you about this. So we also had lots of 9s. We had the 9 of Cups, 9 of Wands, twice actually. We have the Moon later on, and then we have the High Priestess. Okay, High Priestess is number 9. The Moon is 18, which would be 8 + 1 is 9. And 9s just talk about you're close to a conclusion. You're gaining wisdom. You may get some inspiration from past trauma. Okay, and just being very selfless and having things come to fruition through that selflessness. Also, with all the 2s that I've seen, I could see that you come to an agreement with somebody, you unite to make an agreement or for some closure to close the incomplete ring. And possibly there may even be some reconciliation. But again, take some time out for some advice, okay? Meditate on it. That may be what you're deciding between. And also, I don't think I've told you this yet before I get to this Empress. You have a lot of threes, okay? You have the Three of Wands. Then, where was it? Oh, you have Death, which has the 3 and 13. And then you have the Three of Pentacles later, which is a 3. And then you also have multiples of 3, like 6 and 9. So there's a lot of 3 energy going on in here as well. And 3s talk about communicating, okay, teamwork, getting together to make possibilities happen. And then it's based on a tripled union of some sort. And that 3s need to lead to 4 so you can have more stability and more freedom. All right, so talking about the 2, the Empress, I see that 5 of Pentacles was right on top of the Empress, okay? So I saw, like, at some point you felt all alone in the world, okay? But eventually you got your wishes fulfilled. And, well, I'll talk about some of the other stuff later because it just hasn't come up yet. But with the World, 2 major arcanas going on, you had to consistently nurture all aspects of your life in order to be strong and have a conclusion. So this Empress, she's in charge of the harvest. So she's in charge of tilling of the ground, making sure it has all the right nutrients, the sowing of the seeds, the sunlight, the water, the temperature, whatever it is. And then she's in charge of the plants growing and watching them and then harvesting them. So you had to really nurture so many things in order to achieve what you wanted to achieve and get your wishes, despite a really big loss that you had. It looks like somebody took some stuff from you. And you basically had to be strong and take care of yourself. So that's what I see for the card. That's the Empress, with your intuition and this loss, you were able to come together and heal yourself or get healing. But you still want some closure. Okay. Coming over to your other challenges, it could be more conflicts and as well as what the cards are challenging you to do. And that's where we have the Nine of Wands, which is having your defenses up and being on the lookout for something, being a little wary. Okay. And you're looking away from death. Okay. Death is change, rebirth. So one of the challenges is you're resisting change. Okay. Plain and simple. And you have 13 here. If you do 3 + 1, that's 4. We talked about threes need to lead to 4, so you have that stability and that freedom. If you were to change or be reborn, don't resist the change because it's going to lead to stability and freedom. And I see like 5 of Cups and 5 of Swords, everything that we have here. I see there is some instability and you need stability as well as completion. Like this would be the end of a cycle. Okay. That's a major arcana. Okay. Now, the next thing that you're looking toward as a 9 of Wands, that's what you're looking for. You're looking for something to come and hurt you. Well, it's the Tower. Everybody's scared of that one. Now, with the Tower and Death put together, I see a very abrupt, intense change. And it's not caused by you. Okay. Like it's very abrupt. And to me, it's also final. Like death, nothing's more final than death, right? Except for the afterlife. Because there is an afterlife. You live after the Tower. And it brings about change. Change that otherwise you would not have been able to get. Like this is not caused by you at all. Okay. And with the 2 of Swords, that means you're on the fence. Well, the Tower's coming along to knock you off your fence and make a decision. But that's what you're looking out for. Like you've been bitten before and you're like, oh, is that Tower coming for me? And yes, it will come if you don't make a decision. So that could be another challenge you face. As advice, this could say, make a decision. Okay. You do need to change. You need to change your beliefs or change your inner self as far as how you see things, how you go about your relationships. And the thing is, I see that you had worked so hard to heal yourself. And so you're so scared that if you make a decision that this tower's coming back for you, and so you're not changing. Or you're resistant to it. But that's from the past. So I think something from the past, like a past lover, may be coming back. I wouldn't be scared of it, okay? Because all change is for the good. But with the Four of Pentacles, clarifying the tower, because I always look at what's before and after the tower. So 9 of Wands and 4 of Pentacles. I see that, yeah, you can prepare, okay? So we do have some preparation going on here. Put those walls up and prepare for the tower, okay? Because tower is very quick, very swift, very dramatic, but it leads to something more. It leads to a breakthrough. Also, I see with the tower and 3 of Wands near each other, I see that anything evil or dangerous will be destroyed when the building falls. And trauma will be healed. Okay. So you're going through some trauma, like you're going to go back through it from the past. And, it hurt you. Okay. It wasn't deadly, but it hurt you. And now you have to go back through it. And so you've put up these walls and you're just kind of leery about going through that again. Because, once bitten, twice shy. And this is together is saying, yes, do that, okay? And one of your strengths to get through this is that you can argue, okay? I see that with the Tower, 4 of Pentacles, 5 of Cups. I see you can argue. You're prepared to argue if you need to. All right, let's move on from there. We can get back to that later if we need to. Also, I was going to bring up real quick, since I just thought about that and we just did it. Tower and 4 of Pentacles tell me you're under a lot of pressure. Okay, so just prepare for that pressure. The pressure comes right before the breaking of the tower. And you just have this this pressure to be perfect, okay? But don't worry about the pressure. You do what's best for you. Coming to potential outcome, we have the Hierophant in reverse. Now, since Empress and Hierophant were right next to each other, I see that you're not going to become a bride, okay? Not this month, anyway. And that may have been something that hurt you. Somebody left you at the altar. Somebody broke an engagement. You thought you were going to marry this person and you ended up breaking up. That's something hard you have to deal with, and you've healed from it. But your potential outcome is you might get a conclusion, but you're not going to marry them. Also, for those of you who were studying religion, it looks like you may stop studying, or you may leave that particular group. Hierophant is clarified by another major arcana, the moon. So we have a lot going on here. With the moon and the high priestess, I do see secrecy and deception, but whatever is revealed is for your benefit, okay? Perhaps you get another muse for your psychic abilities, okay? But you get to move on. And you're also going to be working on your inner self, combining your light and dark self, or dark sides. I can also see that with Temperance. Again, 8 plus 1 is 9, so we have more 9s in here, which talk about coming close to conclusion. Things are incomplete, but you will be. And getting just wisdom and being selfless. Now with the star card over here and the moon, not only is it great success because of the world, but I also see valuable insight. So there's something you're going to learn through a communication, possibly with somebody from the past. You're going to get closure based on some insight. So you're going to see something in a new way. A secret might be revealed, or something that was hidden from you before, some kind of an illusion was set up. It's going to be broken for a good thing. It's going to be for your benefit. Maybe you had a bad relationship and the person reveals something about themselves that makes you see things differently. Okay? Let's move on to the next one. 3 of Pentacles. So I do see teamwork here, recognition and reward. Somebody may recognize what you've done, like your triumph. This could also be just a culmination of having worked very hard, and you do get that healing if you haven't already had it.